So with warm-ups then, any other questions, sorry, just before we go on that was really good, that question. With warm-ups, I don't do it the ramp protocol. Did I tell you what way I do it?
No.
So I do what we call like a MARP, so the M-A-R-P. So rather than, what does ramp stand for? Raise, activate, mobilize, potentiate. One, I like mobilizations before activations. Like I like to get the joints moving the way they should. We talked about that last week about getting mobility before stability. So I kind of like doing that anyway. Like I'm not going to like engage, like really activate an area and then try to mobilize it. Two, just practically like you're kind of limited to standing exercises, which is fine, but you can't do any core work, you can't do any like glute bridging work out on the field. So if people have ran around, it's mad then like how much time are you actually going to spend doing the mobilizations. So the way I like to do is I like them to do the mobilizations in the dressing room and the activations in the dressing room. If training's starting at 7:30, like that's the kind of stuff you do from like 7 to 7:30. As opposed to spending my time them doing like their activations on the page. Then I'll do a raise, then I'll just do like a 2-lap jog, and then my potentiation will start then where all my sprinting, my running drills. Okay, so you can do it any way you want, but what we're going to do is we're going to go over the mobilizations and activations today. So with mobilizations, with that joint by joint approach, what areas did we say that in general you're going to have to try look at mobilization? Ankle, hip, good then. Shoulder and upper back, yeah. Ankle, hip and shoulder, ankle, hip, thoracic spine, and then the shoulder joint. Okay, they're going to be your activations, or they're going to be your mobilizations. If there's a mobility issue, what did we say? If there's a mobility issue, what did we say was the main reasons for this? There was 3 reasons that someone could have it. Someone's tight, someone can't bring their knee forward.
Oh, like you said, where it could be.
Yeah, like what's causing that? What would stop that? Say again? So it's tightness in the muscles. How are we going to fix tightness in the muscles? Stretch. What stretching did we talk about yet last week? P and F. Have someone on the ground, pushing up, contractor, pushing up for 6 seconds, relaxing, pulling into it and holding that new position for 7 to 15. What other stretches did we talk about? Excellent, Declan. So the other one's called active isolated stretching, where they pull up their own leg and then you pull it. The idea behind that one is, if we get this muscle working, this muscle has to relax off. It's a thing called reciprocal inhibition. Okay, so you do P and F, active isolated stretching. You could just do your static stretching. If it's in a warm-up, I'm probably not going to do that, but in the cool down, I definitely would, because I'm not going to hold it for 2 minutes. So the muscle could be tight. What else with the muscle? We have them over there. What were the main foam rollers? It could be like trigger points or knots in the muscle. So that's the thing we want to roll out. And then the last reason, the muscle might be fine. Why else might I be able to go forward?
Lack of mobility in the joint.
Excellent, Ross. Lack of mobility in the joint. So the joint might be stuck. Okay, so then we're going to have to go, 30 times? And either go to the end range, grade 3, or, go to the range, come back off, or you go to the end range and just kind of pulse through it. And that's a grade 4. Okay, we did that stuff last week. Activations then, generally around the glutes. So that's all our glute clam work, our bridging on the ground, then we can do it in standing. We can do our motor control stuff here as well. Assisted squats, that kind of stuff. Core work, glute work, maybe some shoulder blade work. Shoulder stabilizers. Okay, what we're going to do now, break off into our 3s. Come up with a 5-minute routine. There's 2 ways you can do it. I do them 2 ways basically. Depends on how much time I have with the team. if I have a lot of time with a team, say, like with Arsenal, like when I know they're strength and conditioning coaches, they could have like 6 athletes that they're in the academy. They have like 6 players that they're responsible for. If you have that, you have a lot of time to work out what's going to work for the person. If you have like 30 and it's like you're in once or twice a week, keep it more general. If I have a smaller group like this, what I might do is like 5 minutes of all this joint mobility work. So really working on the joint, and then doing my knee to wall test before. So like, okay, all you're getting down, can you get to the wall? Then you do nothing but joint mobility work. And then we go to the wall. Is that better? And say if it's better on Leah, brilliant, Leah, that's what you're doing from now on. But it's no different with Chris. Next week it could be like 5 minutes of just like literally foam rolling and releasing that off. And that might be the thing that works for Chris. And then Dana, it could be like, you know what, P&F is really effective and active isolated stretching. So if I have a smaller group, I might just have 5-minute routines that everybody's doing individually. If it's not, I'll still have a 5-minute like ankle mobility routine, but might have 1 joint mobility work on it, 1 bit of foam rolling, and 1 stretching. Does that make sense? Okay, what I want you to do now then is come up with like a 5-minute routine for your ankle, 5-minute routine for the hip, and 5-minute routine for the upper back and shoulder. Is that okay? Okay, let's do that please.